Hello and welcome to the Healing Codes podcast. I'm Julie Williams, your host, sending you healing activations and inspirations for health and well-being. Today's episode, Healthy Habits, is the next in the Path of Healing series, where I've been guiding you on 10 essential steps for personal growth. Today, I'll be covering Step 8, Habituate. The part where the change has happened and has been integrated enough to become an involuntary habit that runs without us even having to think about it. In this episode, you'll understand the components of how good habits are made with practical exercises to support you in sustaining positive change on your personal growth path. You can catch up on the previous episodes in the Healing Path series by listening to episodes 65 to 72 and also episode 57, which outlines the entire path of healing. Understanding how habits form is important in being able to consciously participate in the process. Habits are behaviors that have become integrated into our systems to a point where we run them automatically with minimum conscious awareness. Habits are conditioned into us through consistent repetition. This process involves the creation of neural net pathways that become etched into our brain. Over time, with regular use, these neural net pathways solidify in our brain chemistry, where all it takes is the first step to be triggered for the entire pathway to fire. Habits are a way that our systems stay efficient. Instead of creating new neural net pathways each time we do, think, or act, our brain catalogs the things that we do on a regular basis and creates the pathways that stay put over time. A trigger is placed at the start of the pathway that, when activated, will run this saved or habituated pathway without the need for building a new one each time. Now, this can be both good and bad, depending on the trigger, pathway, and resulting action. For example, if you have a habit of picking up your phone each time you get a notification, this can negatively impact your focus, productivity, and mental health. If, however, you have a habit of putting your phone on silent while you're doing a task, or for a defined period of time, you will support your brain in being able to stay focused on the task and increase productivity. Many people find creating healthy habits, such as consistent exercise, a nutritious diet, or regular sleep, to be difficult. But with the right information, tools, and practices, you can make creating a new habit easier and letting go of the old habits that don't serve your greatest good effortless. The key to forming a new habit and changing an old one is to focus your attention on these three main aspects at the core of every habit: cue, routine, and reward. This is from research out of MIT, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in Boston. The cue is the trigger that tells your brain to go into the automatic mode and prompts the behavior to unfold. The second is routine, which is the behavior itself and the action you take. The last step is reward. It helps your brain determine if a particular habit loop is worth remembering or not. Generally, habits have immediate or delayed rewards. Habits with immediate rewards are easier to pick up and condition, whereas those with delayed rewards are more difficult to commit to and maintain. For example, think about how easy it is to check your iPhone compared to exercising more. For example, let's use the social media example to explain further how the habit loop works. The cue would be your device receives a push notification that somebody likes or comments on one of your posts. The notification serves as a cue or trigger that tells you to check your account. The routine is the actual behavior. In this example, the behavior would be when you receive the push notification, you automatically check your social media account. The reward is the benefit you gain from doing this behavior that helps the brain figure out if this particular loop is worth remembering for the future. Science shows that with social media, our reward can be that we get a dose of dopamine or a positive body chemical each time a notification appears. The reward can also be about connecting to discovering who has liked or commented on your posts, and engagement with followers by replying. Another example of a healthy behavior would go something like this. The cue would be that there's a light on in your house that tells your brain to go into automatic mode, and a habit that you use when you leave the room. The routine would be when you leave the room, you turn out the light. The reward is a lower utility bill and to help the world become a more sustainable planet. Replacing a negative routine with a healthier one becomes easier when you bring conscious awareness to these aspects of something that you want to change. In this series, you have been guided to create an intention for what you want to release and also for what you want to create. This was covered in episode 66, The Power of Intention. If you've journeyed with me through the Healing Path series, you've gone through the transformation and integration steps just prior to this one, which has set you up to be able to access this new way of being to more easily and with full self-empowered choice make it a habit. Now, as you begin to apply this new way of being, bringing conscious attention to making it a habit is essential to support lasting change. I'll now outline a practice to help you identify, install, and habituate a new way of being. Whether you've been listening to the entire Healing Path series or you've just joined for this episode, this exercise will work for you. This is a practice that will help you understand the habit-forming process, discover new aspects of yourself, and allow you to have a conscious choice over what habits you keep and what habits you're ready to let go of. Feel free to have a notebook or journal handy, as you may want to write down your thoughts and ideas as you go along. And also, feel free to hit pause as needed if you need more time to answer any of these prompts. First, identify the new way of being that you want to habituate. This is your desired state intention. Next, acknowledge what you want to release. Or, if you've worked the previous steps in the Healing Path series, acknowledge what your present state intention was from step 1. It will be different now as you've worked through the steps. This was your present state intention that has now been transformed, allowing your desired state to become available for you. Let's begin with outlining what habit you wish to automate based on your desired state experience. What is it that you want to be experiencing in your life? And what are the thoughts, the actions, and the behaviors associated with that? For example, perhaps you want to adapt a habit of thinking positively from the time you wake up each day. We then want to identify the cue or the trigger, the routine or behavior involved in this experience. So, to start your day thinking positively, the cue would be waking up. The routine would be to be aware of this first moment upon waking and create a positive thought. Maybe something you're grateful for, or what you're looking forward to in the day, or an achievement from yesterday that you're proud of, or even an empowering statement like, "For today, I will look at the positive side of things." Next, identify the reward of doing this behavior. For example, thinking positively first thing in the morning can help you to feel more balanced, both mentally and emotionally. It can allow you to stay calm and relaxed, and it will remind yourself that you have the choice over whether you want to focus on the positive or the negative during your day. Studies show that the first thoughts and actions when we wake up will shape our day. So this is a great place to focus on creating new habits for positive change. The reward part is super important, and so I want to call out some ways that you can bring more energy here so that your positive habit will be able to take hold more strongly. Many of the habits that we want to create come with delayed reward systems rather than instantaneous ones. So it is important when doing this exercise to give the time needed to fully experience the reward if it is a delayed experience, rather than just holding it as an idea in your head. So, for the positive thought upon waking habit, you must remain aware of how doing this every day over time makes you feel at the very subtle levels of being. The response may be immediate, but it also will build over time. And so doing this behavior on a daily basis for at least 21 days, because this is how long it takes for your brain to habituate and automate the neural net pathways to support integrating this new habit. This is where some people can find it difficult to leave bad habits alone and put the effort in to create a new one. Many of our bad habits are linked to immediate gratification, so the reward comes quickly after the action. Being aware of these immediate responses that may soothe you in the moment, but in the long term can cause damage, can help you to reframe your attitude about putting in the consistent effort to do the positive behaviors, as these will serve you in the future in a steady, supportive, and empowering way. You can also use this exercise to identify the structure of a bad habit that you may want to change. First, identify the trigger. What is the thing that kicks off the habituated response? For example, maybe an overloaded to-do list causes anxiety. Then, identify the action of that habit. In this example, it would be creating the to-do list and adding items to it. The result of this is overwhelm and anxiety, which diminishes productivity, self-esteem, and balance. This doesn't sound like much of a reward, which is why it's not a positive habit. Remember, the last step in creating a positive habit needs to be a reward. So, to change a negative habit into a positive one, put some attention on a positive feeling associated with completing that action. So if you'd like to feel accomplishment and pride and celebration when you look at your to-do list and checking items off, perhaps when you create that list, you might want to make it 5 items long so it feels more doable and less overwhelming. Or even better, put a prioritization step in after the list is generated so that you can easily identify what is next to be done on the list, and this will bring your reward of a sense of accomplishment. I hope you've enjoyed in this episode exploring your habits and that you're now equipped with the information and practices to be able to habituate positive changes in your life. Tune in next week for the next step on the healing path. And if you'd like to learn more about me and my work and my on-demand course offerings and upcoming workshops, please visit my website, www.consciousness-medicine.com, where you can also sign up for my free e-newsletter and stay connected on social media from the links on the homepage.